here we are. We're going to add a security mechanism to our publish unpublish web service so that we require the connecting client to authenticate. What we've done so far for authentication is we've had the user type in a username and password when they log in. So we're going in a similar way. We're going to have the wiki application log in, not exactly log in, similar to that. The wiki application won't log in, but it will authenticate. It'll provide evidence that it's that's a valid client to publish and unpublish news items. And we're going to do this using what's called a token, or a secret access key. And we'll submit that secret access key with each request. This is a typical way to do this sort of thing. Although there are alternatives, this is one mechanism that is in fact common. So the web page here is reviewing things that we've done already. We've already generated a self-signed certificate for the publisher application. And what this is, we create this certificate. We use this gen key. We use the key tool rather to create the it creates the key store, and it also generates a key, a public-private key pair. Inserts it into the key store, and that's what Tomcat uses to establish the encrypted communication channel between itself and the browser. And that encrypted communication channel is what the password is and username is transferred through. Now we're going to use that encrypted channel for the security token that the website is going to transmit to the publisher application. But so the website is going to connect to the publisher using HTTPS. But remember, the website does this, connects not as a browser, but as a web application. So what we need to do is we need to configure the web application to have access to the public key that matches the private key that the publisher application uses to establish the secure transport. So at this point we have a public-private key pair in the key store. So what we're going to do is extract the public key from the key store and configure the wiki application to use that when it goes to establish a secure channel. So here's the commands to do that right here. We're going to run key tool. We're going to pass in this command here called export, and these are the parameters. This is the name of the file that will get created. Publisher.cert. Cert is for certificate. This is the certificate, the security certificate for the publisher application. It's going to be in this format, this RFC format. It's a standard format. And the certificate, the export will be done from this key store. This is the password for accessing the key store. Sorry, this is the password for accessing the key store, the store pass. This is the password for accessing the private key and public key pair that's stored inside of the key store. So here is this is for Linux and Macintosh. This is the format to use. The line continuation is this caret symbol. Is that right? Sorry, not. Oh, I'm sorry. This is for Windows. So what we're going to do is we're going to run this. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to run this, and you know, we're not going to need these anymore. So I'm going to exit here, and let's go to where Tomcat is installed. I'm going to find that. So it's here, and actually let me show you here. This is the conf folder. This is where we have the key store currently, and we have a batch file here that we use to generate the key store. Let's take a look at that, and we're going to need a similar script to extract the certificate. This is key gen. So we're going to call this we'll call it extract cert.bat. Let's go ahead and edit that. This is convenient because it gives us the path that we need to the key tool. This is the path we used last time, and of course this business here is not right, so let's go ahead and modify that. This is what it's going to look like. So it's this is key tool. You know what, I'm just going to take it from there, and let's go ahead and put it in there. And it looks good. We've got that line continuation character, and I'm not sure if you can have a space after that or not. This is something to look out for. Oh, this I don't believe Tomcat $Tomcat is defined, but you know, we're in the. I'm going to just take that out. See, we're right inside where the key store is. The key store is in our current folder, so we're going to just use this relative path to the key store. That will work fine. Let's go ahead and save this, and then let's run it. But we need to go to here. And let's run that. So we called it extract cert. I don't see any error messages. Let's take a look at it. This is our extract cert batch file, and there it is, publisher.cert. Let's go ahead and look at that. Let's open that. Let's select a program to use to open that with. It's a text file. That format, you know, this dash RFC that causes the certificate to be stored in a character-based format. So we'll use WordPad. I don't need that. And as you can see, this is a character-based encoding of the certificate. This is standard format. We have this end certificate here, this begin certificate. You look at the characters here, you'll see that they're uppercase, lowercase letters. There's a slash, there's an equals, a plus sign, and an equal sign. This is called the base64 encoding. These are the characters that are used in a base64 encoding. This has its roots in email delivery. I'm not going to get into that. So that's done. We've extracted the certificate. And the next step is to create a trust store that the wiki application will use for its secure connections. And so what we have here is we're going to import the publisher certificate into a file, a trust store called trust store that's stored in this WebINF folder of the application. So now this will be used by the wiki application. So this location is the wiki application. So what I'm going to do now is go over to that wiki application. Let me go ahead and look at that. So this is, I'm going to copy this extract cert. I'm just going to copy that, and let's find the wiki application. That's in here, wherever you have it on your system. So here's the wiki application, the web folder, WebINF, and I'm just going to paste this in here. This will be temporary, and let's go ahead and edit that. It's not really. This is going to call it temp. I'm really going to save this. We're just going to run this quickly. And then, so we're going to use this key tool. We're going to create a trust store. And we're located already in this folder, so we can just remove that part there. And then that's it. Oh, this publisher.cert. We need that. That should also be available locally. I mean, we could just use the absolute path to it, or just copy it to our local area here. So I'm going to open up another Windows Explorer. Look inside. Where did we put that thing? Oh yeah, I have it here. In the conf folder of the Apache Tomcat. Here's the publisher.cert. I'm going to cut that. Publisher.cert. And then I'm going to drop it in here. And let's cd to this folder. I think we have this database running here. We don't need this. I'm going to exit that. And let's cd to this new folder. I'm going to run dir. This is where we are. This is the that did not work. cd paste. There it is. There it is. Here's our publisher.cert. Here's our temp.bat. Let's run temp.bat. Oops. Not on Linux here. Alright. There's the trust store. We just generated it. And that's not a character format. That's in a binary format. Can't look at that inside of a text editor. Now this publisher.cert, we don't need these things anymore. I'm going to delete these. Although you could save them in your project. That's the other way to do it. And so we just needed this trust store here. Alright. Get out of there. Done with that. We've deleted that actually. And then Now we need to modify the deployment descriptor. We need to add an additional security constraint to the deployment descriptor of the publisher web. We want the access to these URL patterns to be redirected, if needed, to a secure port. In our case, it's 8443. Normally it would be simply 443. That's the default. Let's go ahead and find that. So we have the deployment descriptors here. Need to go down there. Here's our. This is where we restrict things into. This is where we redirect or require that connecting clients use HTTPS. It's in here, so we're adding these two items there. And we need to load the trust store. We need to tell Tomcat that that this trust store here, our trust store, which is under WebINAV directly, but to tell Tomcat that we want to load that, or to tell Java anyway. We do that by setting the system property here. We're saying that we have a trust store at this path here. So we need to do that in the context initialized method of the init class within Wiki. Let's find that. I'm just going to delete all these, close all, and that's under web, I think. Here's the init. Oops, under Wiki, not publisher. So this is in init, and this is context initialized. So you need to do it in here. We can do it really anywhere, but we'll put it, say, after there. And now, when we make the connection from the publisher, we don't use an ordinary socket. We need to use a secure socket, an SSL socket, or a TLS socket. And then let's do that. That's inside the publish page servlet. That would be in it's in the wiki. Here's publish page servlet. Let's see, where do we create that socket? Here it is, down here. It's when we publish, right? So we come down here. This is where we create the socket. Instead of an ordinary socket, we want a secure socket, which we get through this SSL socket factory class. And we're going to need to resolve that. So we're going to import the socket factory right there. See if that builds. It does not build. Click that. There we go. And alright. Perform the same replacement in the unpublished page servlet. So you have to do the same thing over there. Here is the unpublished method, and this is where we get the socket. Put in the new one. Let's import. It doesn't seem to work. Oh, that's the socket factory, I see. And then we have to, the SSL socket factory. We have two imports to do there. And now the thing is, we have to send an access key. So we have it. Now we have a secure connection with the web service, but now we need to do more than just anybody can make a secure connection with the web service, because the the public key is available to the world. So what we need to do is add some requirement that an access key be passed in. So this is the published news item service. It extracts it. This is the let's take a look here. Okay, this is the publisher application, the web service that's requiring the access key. So it's going to get the access key from the XML document. That's why we have item.getChild here. And if the access key is not provided, we send back an unauthorized message. Once we get the access key, we look it up in the database to see if it's there. The access key is associated with the user, so when we have find by access key on the user DAO, we're going to get the user who has that access key. This access key is secret, so it functions as both a username and a password. And if the user comes up null, then once again it's unauthorized. If we pass this point, we know that the user has correctly submitted the access key, and that we can go forward with the request. So we need to add this to the published news item service. Let's find that. Published news item service, and that's the web service. It's in here. So when this comes in, this is where we get the all this business. So we can actually, this is where we get the root item here, and then from the root we pull out these children, and so we'll put it in. Maybe we'll put it in here. This is say we'll check. We'll extract the access key. Say authenticate the client. That's a good one. Let's resolve this. Import user. Import user DAO. This we have to implement. I don't really like this sequence here. This is the I guess we can leave it alone. So we need to implement this find by access key method and the user DAO. So here it is, find by access key, user DAO. Let's go and get that. Here's the user DAO. So this is find. This is find by username. Let's find by access key. In fact, let's just grab this. Find. It's going to be similar to find by username. This is find by access key. Let's make sure we get the name right. It's find by access key. And this is the logic for that. So we're just going to go ahead and replace that old stuff here. Paste it in there. And I'm going to clean it up. And we have an issue here. Access key is not here, but we have to add the that. and access key is a string. So create a local variable access key. Oops, didn't want a local variable. I want a, I'm not sure what you call it, an object variable. So let's, this is the user DAO. Where are the, I see access key. This is find by access key. Oh, I see, the access key goes here. Ay, ay, ay. So access key is passed in. Just didn't have the name right here. Alright. That should build. There we go. And we're going to need to add, we're going to need to modify the database. So now we need to, in addition to reading the username and password, we need to get the access key, which is a string. So it's in the read method. Where is read? Read is in here. There it is. So we need to read the access key, and we need to set it here as well. Let's go ahead and stick that in there. And then we have to add getters, a getter and a setter, a get set method for the access key to the user class. Let's go ahead and do that. Up. Keep doing that. Control Shift F. Oh, didn't get everything. Control Shift F. Need to define access key. That's a string. Let's go ahead and do that. It's a private string access key. Finally, we need to actually put this access key in here into the database user table. There's a lot of things to do to modify this. Let's go ahead and find the it's the create DB here. Here after the we'll put it after the password. It'll be an access key. That looks the same. And then, so a user has a username and a password, but also an access key. So there's two different ways for a given user to authenticate. And we're going to need these to add access keys. So this is where we insert into the user. So here it is. Let's put that in there. So what do we do? We're going to put one in for admin. So admin will be able to access the web service. So you can see here we're also passing in the access key for admin. I'll take the old one out. And there's the new one. Admin has a password of 1234. Oh, so the access key is 1234. This is the encrypted password. We could also, no, we cannot encrypt the access key. Cannot do that. So let's create DB. Let's run that so we don't forget. Run as and build. There it is. Finally, we need to, I don't know if it's final. I think it is final, yeah. We need to modify Unpublished Service so it checks for the access key. Alright, let's do that. So it's the unpublished news item service. let's see, that would be in here. So once we connect, we also need to we'll pass this through irregular parameters. We'll put it right here. So pull the access key out. It's a parameter called access key, and if it's not there, then it's unauthorized. Let's get these classes imported, and otherwise we'll use the access key and call find by access key on our user DIO to get the user object. If user comes up null, he knows he's not in the database, and we return an unauthorized response. Otherwise, go ahead and get the news item out and do the job. Alright, I believe that we have everything configured. Don't forget to organize imports. Let's go ahead and take a look. Oh. Verify that the operation fails and the server reports a JDOM ParseException. Let's go ahead and see. We're supposed to get this. Why do we get this exception? Alright, so once we test this, stop and start the publisher and wiki applications. Try to publish a wiki page. Verify that the operation fails. We should get a ParseException. The publisher web service is returning a failure code through the following line. Well, because we're not sending the we're not checking for failure codes. So let's go ahead and see that. Apparently we didn't finish the job yet, but we're going to get the error codes, the error handling to work correctly for us. So let's see. We recreated the publisher database. Let's reset the website, not the website, the wiki database as well. Just get everything synced up. So I'm going to run that. And now we're ready to restart these applications. This is publisher. I'm going to stop that. And this is publisher. I'm going to restart that. And the wiki, I'm going to stop that. And we'll start the wiki application. And so we're going to try to publish a wiki page. Let's do it. Here's our wiki page. I'm going to go back to the hello page, click on publish, and hit publish. There it is. As predicted, the JDOM ParseException. That's because in fact there is an error. Let's see the log watcher here. The wiki application. This shows the error message. It's an XML parsing error. That's because there is in fact another error in the application that we haven't attended to. Let's read what that is. So I think what we're doing is we're not there it is. So unauthorized. I think because we're not sending the access key. Alright, so let's go ahead and better handle the when the user submits here, when the user submits the publish operation, right, from here, when we submit publish from here, alright, then we get this error message. And it's hard to, so it says it's an XML error, but as the text explains, that's because we're not correctly parsing the information. So let's go ahead and take care of that. This is the wiki application. So it's in publish. Let's find that. Let's look in the wiki application. Let's find the publish page servlet. And this is where we read through the header lines. And this is the issue in here. So before we try to parse the response as an XML document, let's see if there's if we can find this bad header line. So in fact, we don't need this anymore. Comment that out. So what we want to do is get this status line from the HTTP response message. So it's the first line. We're going to read it here, and then we're going to read through the rest of the header lines. And then we're going to check this status line to see if it begins with this 200. If it doesn't begin with 200, it means that there was an error. And in fact, we will report that error right here. And we're going to report the status line. Let's go ahead and see how that works. That's the publish page servlet. And I'm going to just publish page servlet. That's in the wiki application. I'm going to reload that. Here we are in the wiki application. Just going to click a few pages. Let's publish this. Publish. And this error message is better because it shows us what message the server is reporting to us. So the server is saying that it's returning a 401 unauthorized. So we're not logged in, or the access key. We're not sending the access key. We said that here. So we need to send the access key. So we do that when we up here when we publish try to publish. We're constructing this XML document. We need to also send this access key. So we put that in there, and then we need to add the access key down here, I believe. The access key element. There it is. Root, add content, access key element. That's done right there. And finally, we're sending the access key. And we have to do this for the unpublished request as well, but we do it in a different way. So the book explains, we're showing how to interact with from the client side, interact with a web service by sending an XML document through HTTP post. That's how published page servlet works, but unpublished page servlet works a little differently. It uses HTTP GET and sends the information in the URL. So let's go ahead and do that. And this is where we construct. That's the request line. Where's the request line? There it is. So we have a new request line. This is the old request line. Oops, I messed that up. There we go. That's the old request line. So now unpublished should work as well. Let's test. This is wiki. We're going to reload. This is publisher. We're going to reload. I don't know if we need to reset the database. I can't remember. This is, let's try publishing. Here's publisher. Oh, we need to log in there. Admin. And list the news items. It's the website. Those are our news items. And let's publish the hello page. Check the publisher. There it is. There's the website. So everything is done through a secure mechanism with authentication. And I believe that completes the book. The activities presented in the book doesn't solve the exercises, but that is the final section of the book.